Whenever he's like a child, like a baby. If it's like he throws his his toys out of the pram. If he doesn't get what he wants, he's exactly the same. If he doesn't like the answers, he just start throwing his toys outside the pram.
When people ask him, especially Muslim speakers, when they ask him, where's the proof for that? You'll be beheading children, which we know as a Muslim, that's not possible. It doesn't matter whatever you're doing, that's not possible if obviously they are following proper Islam.
Ask the question in such a way where it's like it's a trap. So what do you guys think? I don't know if you thought about it yet, so but I'm just putting you in the spot. Have you guys thought about this? If someone were to ask you on the street, do you condemn Hamas? What would be your answer?
If the answer is not appropriate to show or to the public, he will just shut them up.
He's willing to take sides when it comes to 7th of October, but he's not willing to give sides when it's after 7th of October. To me, he's the biggest denier of genocide. He keeps saying to people who are saying about 7th of October, do you condemn? Do you condemn? But then people ask him, do you condemn what Israel is doing? He doesn't condemn. Ji, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope everyone is doing very well. I'm sure everyone has heard the latest news about Piers Morgan, how his interview with the president of Hizb ut-Tahrir went. And inshallah, we'll cover that topic today, how Piers Morgan has exposed himself this time, and what a Muslim response should be now, inshallah. So with me today is Furqan Bhai and Sajid Bhai. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you guys doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, very well.
So, did you guys see the interview?
Yes, I did. I'm actually following Piers Morgan for a very long time now, especially his uncensored talks. Yeah.
And what do you think about the latest interview?
It's all biased, isn't it? Like, when he calls the Israeli people or ambassadors or officials, he's not that hard compared to when he brings in the Muslim guest. So it's very biased. You can tell, like, from a neutral point of view, that the argument he start with the Muslim speakers is straight away like what happened on the 7th of October, and obviously he doesn't want to address anything else. Whereas when it comes to the other officials from Israeli governments, it's very soft. He gives them time as well to respond properly. And with the Muslim speakers, he keeps on interrupting. The average time, I think, brother Dili Hussain was telling is 21 point some seconds. So
Yes. I noticed that as well. But even before this whole 7th of October, I saw his talks and interviews, and I always felt that he was interviewing himself, because whoever the panelist he would call, and he would just basically ask them the question, and he wouldn't like the answer, and then he'll answer on their behalf. So for some reason, it seems like Piers Morgan likes to interview himself or listen to his arguments himself. So whoever disagrees with them. So there was a point where I actually thought, maybe he's changed. When he did the interview with Andrew Tate, if you remember, he did the first interview. Andrew Tate, mashallah, destroyed him. Then he did another one, which was more like he let Andrew speak as well. So I thought maybe since then he was changing his tactics and he learned, he let the other person speak. But then he's gone worse now, where he completely disagrees the other, what is happening. To me, he's the biggest denier of genocide. He keeps saying to people who are saying about 7th of October, do you condemn? Do you condemn? But then people ask him, do you condemn what Israel is doing? He doesn't condemn. If you look at all the talks, he has not condemned even once. And he's saying, oh, there's a moral quandary about it, and morally he doesn't think this is right or wrong. So he's not openly saying this is wrong. But then when it comes to the whole 7th of October, he's willing to take sides when it comes to 7th of October. But he's not willing to give sides when it's after 7th of October. So what do you guys think about that?
Whatever you two said, I do agree with both of you. And actually, I was following this guy. I used to listen to his podcast regularly. But after when he's been inviting Muslims into his shows, you can clearly see which side he's on. If the answer is not appropriate to show or to the public, he will just shut them up. He will say, okay, just then he bring all back into the same question. Two questions you always ask every single Muslims. How come you don't ask those questions to Israelis or who is standing against these people? At least listen to this whole story, and get whole information, whole knowledge about where exactly it started from, and all these 70 years, 80 years. Then talk about it. You don't talk about it just for one day. You're just talking about one day, what happened to that particular day. What exactly happened before that, and what's happening after that. So you have to see both sides. So I'm not fair enough, because I used to think he's a fair guy, but clearly now you can see he's not fair.
I'm going to pose the same question what Piers poses to everyone. So I've heard, various answers, and everyone seems to be not struggling, but because Piers asked the question in such a way where it's like it's a trap. So what do you guys think? I don't know if you thought about it yet, but I'm just putting you in the spot. Have you guys thought about this? If someone were to ask you on the street, do you condemn Hamas? What would be your answer, Furqan Bhai? Let's start with you, inshallah.
That's very nice to put me on spot.
Of course, all the time.
Okay, so like you said, we have to look at the history, at the background. And like Andrew Tate put it the right way, Andrew Tate, he said it's just a resistance. It's like a pressure cooker. You can oppress people when people are seeing the children dying. What do you expect? It's like obviously there's a biblical verse or a biblical narrative. If somebody hit you on the right or frame you next cheek, we don't see that happening. So the thing is, if obviously for 70 odd years or whatever time, they've been getting oppressed. And okay, in West Bank, like the PLO ambassador, he put the right question to the anchor as well. He goes, there's no Hamas in West Bank. What's happening there? There's actually people are still dying there. They're occupying places, and obviously it's Israeli actually who are in violation of breaking the international laws of the war crimes and that. So, and then the question gets to be, okay, everybody's got the right to defend itself. Well, Muhammad Hijab put it the right way. Again, he goes, they are the occupiers, so they are in offense in the first place to begin with, so they haven't got a right to defend themselves. And it's not like these things happen every single year. If you and I remember correctly, last Ramadan, they were attacking Muslims while doing Taraweeh in Ramadan night. And even before that as well, it's been happened. And you do not see this much light on the media or, spotlighting the fact, okay, what Israel is doing is right or wrong. Nobody actually cares about when it comes to Muslims, especially Palestinians. So I would say, like, coming back to your question, Hamas, whatever they did, if they did it, was wrong. Another question, like, obviously, when people ask him, especially Muslim speakers, when they ask him, where's the proof for that? You're beheading children, which we know as a Muslim, that's not possible. It doesn't matter whatever you're doing, that's not possible if obviously they are following proper Islam. Islam doesn't say that. Killing of the children and women is not allowed in Islam anyways to begin with. So again, where's the proof for that? If you were that confident, you should have provided the proof. And then he goes, oh, come on, you're denying the fact, like I've seen the videos and that. Well, if you've seen the videos, show it to your viewers as well. Where's the proof of like Muslims raping women? This all false accusations. And when you ask him these questions, he literally just flipped the questions around. That's how it is.
Or he says, this is my show.
Yeah.
This is one thing I've noticed. Anytime he doesn't want to answer, this is my show. This is my show. So basically he's saying, I don't care what you say. This is my show. So whenever he's like a child, like a baby. If he's like he throws his his toys out of the pram. If he doesn't get what he wants, he's exactly the same. If he doesn't like the answers, he just start throwing his toys outside the pram. And that's what I feel like. So I don't think that he should be given that credibility. Sajid, what do you say?
What?
In addition to what Furqan Bhai said.
Okay, you know what I think? When he asked, do you condemn Hamas? That time he should at least provide a proof that Hamas exists. Any kind of videos or pictures to whoever guest he calls. He doesn't provide anything. You don't even know if Hamas exists or not. He just
that's out of question. They do exist.
But they do exist.
Yeah.
No. What he's saying is basically because what it is, the government says they recognize them as a terrorist state. The UK government, forget about other governments. They don't recognize. Most of the world don't recognize Hamas as a terrorist state. So that's another debate. It's a resistance for one country and a terrorist for another country.
Yeah.
So that is out of the question. So how would you tackle that? Hamas exists and everything. So how would you do that now?
Okay, if Hamas exists, if he's doing anything, in Islam, it tells you whenever the war is going on, you're not allowed to kill women, old people, children. If anyone's doing anything against Islam, what is not allowed is wrong. If he's not, first of all, you need to prove if he's killing innocent people. Innocent people, then you can say, okay, he's a terrorist. But, there's no 100% guaranteed he done that. Like Israelis, they're killing everyone. They're not just killing. They're not providing food. There's no water. There's no electricity. There's basically, they're letting them die there without anything provided. So, you can see clearly who's terrorist, who's not. So only who's inside the battle. Only those people you can fight with. Yes, only those people you can fight with. No one, you can't just, start attacking hospitals or attacking universities or schools. It's not acceptable at all.
I was thinking about the same question, and I think I'll answer it differently now, because it's like a repeat thing. If you guys remember when 9/11 happened, they did the same thing. They were asking all the Muslims on the street everywhere, do you condemn 9/11? Do you condemn 9/11? Do you condemn 9/11? I mean, why should we condemn anything? Why are we in a defensive position? Someone else has killed someone for whatever reason. Why should the whole Muslim nation condemn that particular act? Why? Like, why are we being questioned? Like, I haven't done it. If there's a crime going on the street, if something's happening, the police is not going to come and say, do you condemn this crime? Of course we do. You need to understand the mentality. Why are they asking this question? Because they want to trap us. They want to trap us in a way where saying, your religion is violent, your religion supports violence, killing of innocent people. And we keep repeating again and again. My answer would be, go and ask the people from Gaza. What do they think? Yeah. Why are you asking me? They are supposed to be from Gaza. They're not there. They didn't come from somewhere else. They are from Gaza, isn't it? They're from Palestine. They're Palestinians. Yeah. Why don't you ask the Gazan people? They'll tell you what they did was right or wrong. Me, you, whoever it is, we can sit over here and tell us, like, Islamically this is right or wrong. At the end of the day, why don't you go and ask them? Has anyone actually asked them? If you go onto social media, has anyone asked the Gazan people, do you condemn Hamas? Yes, we have the representative, of PLO and all of, but people who are actually living there. So for me, I take a different perspective. Why are we in a defensive position? I say, okay, what if I agree with you. If Hamas did what, as the media is claiming they did wrong.
That's wrong, obviously.
Yeah.
There's no denial.
All Muslims agree with it, 110%. But even before you say, look at your wars, Western wars. You kill and butcher people left, right, and center. You don't care. But when we care, we have actually rules for the war, even before you guys had any rules. So now even they're saying, they're using dumb bombs in Palestine. So dumb bombs are basically, they don't have any technology behind them. They're not precision bombing. They're basically dumb. You drop them and they kill people. This is the latest report. So you telling us that we are barbaric, whereas you have killed 20,000 people and you're not barbaric.
Yeah.
I mean, how does this all add up? But anyways, now coming up to the main topic is basically the particular comment that Piers Morgan made about the women. Did you guys hear that particular thing, that the statement he said about women, that they are all oppressed?
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I did actually, and it was quite saddening to see. He's literally exposed. That's all I would say. You're calling somebody on the show. Yeah. Let me just break it down. Give me about a couple of minutes. So what happened was, you are actually calling somebody on the show. You're putting words in their mouth. Listening to their opinion, keep interrupting, and obviously asking them what does jihad means. So that's an Arabic term to begin with. Same as Muslim. Muslim is somebody who submit their will to God. That's why we say all the prophets, including Jesus, peace be upon all of them, was a Muslim. That's the lingo, that's the Arabic word, which means a person who submit his will to God. So jihad, it could be you fighting battles within you. So doing rape, you actually not doing backbiting, you're not murdering, you actually abiding by the laws of the society, that's a jihad, isn't it? So people literally just take it out of the context and say, okay, he's chanting jihad, so are you trying to like kill people? And explained nicely, is literally we asking the Muslim nations to send the armies to help the other countries, like what happened in World War II and World War One. So, like you have invited a guest, he's trying to give you the answers, and then you actually, after the interview, come up with the campaign, okay, ban the doctor from the NHS. For what? What did he say wrong? You know, so you asking him questions, he's answering, oh, come on. Well, it's not Islam that actually condemns homosexuality. It's all the religions, especially Catholic, Christianity, Judaism, all the major religions, they condemn homosexuality. So if he has said that, in the next question he poses is, oh, are you going to treat gay? He said, of course I'm going to treat gay. Even I would treat gay. But that doesn't mean I want my son to become gay. That's what you mean by supporting. I'm not going to ask my son to become a gay. Obviously, it's our religious teachings and everything. But then again, you know, you were mentioning Andrew Tate. So he went to his house, Romania, to do the interview. And you can see that there's a huge difference when he was invited first time and the last interview. He literally nailed it. He was trying to interrupt him, but he finished his point he wanted to make. Andrew Tate, shout out to him. So, and then Dilly Hussain, he called him the last interview with Piers Morgan, and he was like so much worried about getting boycotted from the Muslim Ummah and his viewers. So he called him, okay, why are you running the campaign for boycotting us? He goes, obviously the comment you made, coming back to your point. So they say when you are angry or when you're drunk, when you're out of your senses, that's when the truth comes out. You understand? So literally he has spoken it, and he's trying to, obviously this has been misconstrued, and you know, obviously it's taken out of the context. And if I was to make a clip out of you, what you're saying about Taliban, so that's going to be taken in the wrong context. That's what he was telling him. Well, you went to Andrew Tate for 3 times, you accusing him all this time, and you were telling him, like you said this in the past, you said that in the past, and he's trying to tell you it's the whole podcast for more than 2 hours. People have literally taken out that clip, and when he was trying to explain you them points, you weren't listening, and you were very like stick to your guns, and you were saying like, obviously no, why did you say that, you know. So when it comes to your own self, and then you're defending it, then you're saying, oh, it's been like taken out of the context. So I would say he's shown his true colors. We all know he's an Islamophobe. You don't have to follow a religion to differentiate between right and wrong. Innocent child, doesn't matter is a Muslim or non-Muslim. If somebody is hitting somebody in front of me, I'll be the first one to jump in. I'm not going to ask him what religion you are, what you're defending, or you are like you are offending somebody. I'm not going to jump in straight away, because that's wrong. You understand? So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to differentiate between right and wrong. If you see, obviously we condemn if they have killed the children and babies and women and raped them whatsoever, whatever the allegations are, which they haven't provided the proof yet, but we still condemn that if that's true. But when it comes to you don't condemn that. So that's basically the true colors. That's the biasness of Mr. Piers Morgan.
Yes, true.
Yes, after hearing that statement from Piers Morgan, he's been very, very disappointed. And you know, after saying that, you can clearly say what point of views he have for Islam, for Muslims, especially women.
So I just want to make one last point. You know, Dilly Hussain was invited to the Good Morning Britain show as well, about 15 years ago.
Okay.
And when all this LGBT stuff was getting heated up, you know, people in Birmingham were protesting against it, peaceful protest. And Piers Morgan called him again, and he goes, well, why are you protesting against it? You are in UK, you know, in Islamabad. What does that tell you?
Yes, he did that.
So basically, you know, that shows that he's living in a prison. You're not allowed to speak for everyone, or you can't be on the fair side, or you can't be on the better side, you know, because just because you're living in the UK, that doesn't mean you're always going to side to the wrong side. You know, there's always 2 ways. You know, one side, one right side, one wrong side, and everyone's got, like, you know, UK is popular in saying, you know, everyone's got human rights. So everyone can speak about anything. Your views, you know, if they're allowing you to be a gay or lesbian, that means, you know, the Muslims have a right to say whatever. And you know, first, before putting that statement into the podcast, you know, you should knowledge yourself, you know, go out there, you know, study about it, what Islam tells and teaches to these Muslim women, then talk about it. You don't have any experience with the Muslim ladies or Muslim women. You never call them in your shows. So how can you make that such kind of statements? It's very, very wrong. Man, after saying the statement, everyone is clear and cut that which side you're on. You shows us that you're against Islam.
Yeah. And this is the thing, and I heard Piers Morgan's statement. The way he's defending, I think Piers Morgan, you're really deluded, because I heard the full interview while it was happening, and when I heard the statement about jihad, about Sharia law, and about women, I knew straight away that you are an Islamophobe. So don't try to hide it. You know what he said? He's not going to apologize for it. He gave a statement. He said, "I'm giving a clarification that I didn't mean it. I don't hate Muslims." Yeah, or someone has just took a clip out. No, people are not idiot. We're not idiot. We deal with Islamophobic issues day in, day out. We live in this country. We know what Islamophobia looks like. So don't try to hide behind your words and this thinking you're fair. You're a deluded person. So now the second question, yes, we should boycott. I think if you work in the UK and if you are Islamophobic or something, or even homophobic, as he said, if you work in any workplace, any company, they're supposed to take an action. So this guy is clearly Islamophobic. So do you think he should be sacked from his position?
Of course. He's a threat to the society. These are the actually warmongers. These are the people who ignite war. I just remember that he was talking about Sharia law as well. Do you want the Sharia law to implement in this country? Well, in all honesty, Sharia law, the first law is you have to abide by the law of the land. We cannot bring in our own laws. Obviously, if somebody is saying, like I said, if you are going to be saying my son is going to be a homosexual or a gay or a lesbian or whatsoever, transgender, obviously I'm going to defend that. If I can't defend that, I'm going to be leaving the country happily, to be honest. And I think he should be boycotted. I think everyone knows now, even though, it's not about... Yeah, another thing he always says is, I have given the platform to the Muslim speakers, pro-Palestinians, more than anybody else in the world.
That's jokes.
Well, it's joke as well, because you haven't given them to show the people what's actually happening. You've called them over because, they've got massive followings. They're influencers, and you wanted to get the views. So look at the views he gathers on videos when a Muslim speaker is called, compared to any of the videos. Look at that. So it's for your own sake, for your own will, and it doesn't matter. Like I was the first one to stand against the Iraq wars and that. So what's happening now? Where's your morality gone now? So unless the Western society, we do not take laws from the society. We have got our own set of laws provided to us by Allah the Almighty, by the God, whatever you wanna name him. Like you said, in this country in 60s and 70s, gayism was offensive, it was punishable, and you will persecute them as well, and then slowly you have legalized them in the society. So our boundaries, our laws are clear. If it's haram, it's haram. If we start bending the rules, we're going to be ending up as Christianity as well. That's what the whole point of getting a set of laws from the divine deity, whatever you want to call it. We call it Allah, you want to call it God, no problem. But then again, if you're going to fall in the society's trap, you don't know, you cannot differentiate what morality is. As a matter of fact, I was having this conversation, I wouldn't say argument. The lady was like, oh, that's wrong, and she was drunk as well. And she was like, oh, there's so much bad is happening, and we should stand up as a society. I said, what do you mean by that? Do you believe in God? Oh, I'm a Catholic, I used to, but not anymore. Why? How come? Why is there so much bad happening in the society? I said, well, if you don't believe in God, how can you tell something is bad from good?
True. What's the morality?
Yeah, what's the standard?
Yeah.
Isn't it like abortion in some countries is sinful? It's not allowed by the law. Whereas in the other countries, you can have abortion. So killing an innocent child inside mother's womb is a crime in some countries. So how would you differentiate that? I'm sure Hitler was thinking, he was a Christian as well. So when he was doing the genocide, which we always obviously condemn, he was thinking he was doing good. Isn't it? Yes. He was thinking he was doing good. So this is why I mean, like you coming up and you telling us, so you want to implement the Sharia law. Well, sir, with all due respect, you need to read the Sharia law first and foremost yourself before you actually start commenting on that, and before you actually start putting words in people's mouth. You need to educate yourself first.
Exactly. You was talking about Sharia law. Piers Morgan, he doesn't know nothing about Sharia law. You need to go out there, learn about it, and then talk about it. You can't just say, okay, Sharia law is wrong. It's not such a good thing. Okay, just because it's got something to do with Islam is become bad. It's not like that. And I do agree with you too that Piers Morgan, he shouldn't be running the show anymore. He should be sacked, because what he said, you can clearly see is in your shows no one's allowed to speak up, and you shutting them up. So why are you sitting there? You should be straight away sacked from that show.
I think even if he apologizes, he's offended 1/5 of the world's population. What is the requirement of an apology to be accepted? Other person has to forgive you. Unless and until he can ask 2 billion people for forgiveness, your apology will not be accepted, because that's how apologies work. So even if you apologize, it has no effect now. It's too late. He should be sacked. And he should be boycotted. We should stop listening to him, watching his shows. We've seen what kind of rubbish journalism he does. He's one-sided. He's biased, and it's very clear. And one thing I need to clarify. This whole statement about this. About the doctor when he said, "Do you treat patients? If they are homosexuals, do they know about your views?" There something what non-Muslims need to understand. The biggest sin in Islam is not believing in God. Biggest sin, even bigger than being a homosexual or drinking alcohol and this, that, the other. We don't argue with people, or we dislike people who don't believe in God.
True.
Yeah, being homophobic is a very tiny sin compared to not believing in God. Yeah. So if we can tolerate that, if we can be tolerant of that, then we can surely be tolerant of people, anything else.
Yeah.
So you need to understand this, that we don't hate the sinners. They sin, but the biggest sin, even in the Quran, Allah says people who say that he's got a son, is the biggest sin they can do. People over here, they believe that. Do you see Muslims going out and fighting with them or hating them or chanting hate for them? We don't do that. So you need to understand there is levels of sin in there, and the biggest sin, even you're involved in, Piers, is not believing in one true God. We don't hate you. Yeah, you need to understand that. So homosexuality, everyone tries to bring that in. My argument is that we have a bigger problem, and we don't argue about that. So okay. So now we've discussed all of this. Now, the other question I was asking is, should Muslims be attending Piers Morgan's show if it carries on? What do you guys think?
If he let them talk what they need to say, then I think then they should.
Do you think he will?
Well, you need to understand, after this, whatever he said in the last podcast, he should change his views. He should, the way he let other people talk, he should let Muslim people talk as well. Give their views. So how are you going to understand? If you not let them talk, how are you going to understand what they're trying to say? Like, as a Muslim, so you can answer him, shut him up, and put your views into his head. So this is what we believe. We Muslims, Muslims are not here to harm people. We're here for peace. That's what Muslim means.
Yes.
Well, I would say I think people, especially Muslim speakers, let alone the general population, should boycott him. They shouldn't go to his show even though if they're invited, because I was really upset when he asked Tilly Hussain, so what are you doing here?
Exactly.
Well, you called somebody on the show and this is disrespect. Straight in the face, what are you doing here? You're having a dialogue, you're having a conversation, and then you're telling him, coming up with, okay, we give platform to all the Muslim speakers. I think they shouldn't go there. The power of social media does not need no one now. Everyone can see what's happening, and everyone can use the social media in the right way. Now, I was having the same opinion, Like you said, we don't hate you, but when it happens over and over again, that gives you like something to think about. Like maybe this guy is never going to change his views.
He's biased.
Yeah, he's probably, you can see he's not neutral, and the whole point of interviewer is to stay neutral. You know, like obviously interviewers, they're sitting there acting like they know every single thing, when in reality they don't. You're calling somebody who's a fitness trainer and you're trying to talk over them. Well, sir, you haven't got qualifications for that. Well, you're a journalist. I'm not going to argue with on that point. But you cannot argue somebody who's a master's in Islam like Muhammad Ijab and Dili Hussain, and the other speakers like 25 years of service in NHS, and you're asking people to boycott him. So I would say he shouldn't be allowed on any media outlet. I think no Muslim speaker should go to him. And I think that really, subhanAllah, this is what makes you believe in Allah very high as well. Like Allah says, Summun bukmun umyun fahum la yarjiun. Their hearts are sealed. You have interviewed Bassam Youssef twice, 2 hours the last time. He's given you all the proper answers, all the explanations. You're telling him, why doesn't Palestinians leave their country and go somewhere else? Well, if the world cares about Jews so much, why don't, he said it, Bassam Youssef said it, why don't you offer them California?
Yes.
Which is literally bigger than UK in itself.
Yes.
And the Palestine as well.
Yes.
So the thing is, like, you have all the logical arguments, you've heard that, and then you coming up saying, do you condemn what's happened on 7th of October? That's literally a crap.
Yes, I agree with that. And I think we Muslims should just boycott him. And we have the power of social media now. Literally, they're trying to ban TikTok as well, because how the algorithm is working. So on the final point, I'll say, on being on social media, all of you, us guys, anything which is with regards to Palestine, pro-Palestinian, the only way we can win this, social media war, if you start liking the videos. So, like the videos, send hearts if you're on TikTok, share them as much as possible. That's how you will force the algorithm to show and change the narrative of the Israeli media propaganda. So this is like, the final remark from us. So inshallah, let us know what your thoughts are, in the comment section. Please do like, share and subscribe our videos. And inshallah, until then, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.